All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Multipoptural, the hardest pronounced pop culture podcast on the planet. This is your boy Brian, a.k.a. B-Hearn, a.k.a. the Puerto Rican Batman.
I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
I didn't know you were that rich, dude.
That's the only a.k.a. I could think of.
Well, it's your boy Jadon, a.k.a. Kowalski, a.k.a. you ain't get me in that plane, fool.
I don't give a what you think, Jerry.
All right, this is Geoff Beale stepping out of the shadows to come on to the podcast
Finally.
today.
Yes.
Yeah. A.K.A. Geoff, A.K.A. Geoff underscore pronounced underscore Jeff on Instagram.
That's right.
Wait, what's your name?
Hey there, everybody. It's your female who's going to, keep these boys in check. Jill Dyson, just like the vacuum. I don't lose suction.
Yeah.
If I have to, I'll punch you in the mouth. No AKAs for that, okay?
So on this episode, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite pop culture, cars, automobiles, vehicles, planes, the whole nine yards, from TV shows, cartoons, movies, and whatnot. We're going to start it off with our boy Jerry.
Yes. So I've got. Are we doing our own cars first, and then getting into it, or no? Like our first car? Are we doing that?
That's a good question.
All right, fellas.
Let's
How about
edit.
we start out with our favorite top three and reasons why?
Let's do that. And
Okay.
then we'll go back, and then
Sounds
Perfect.
good.
Perfect.
How they influence what we bought. Right?
Yes.
Well, I do have a couple, and so my absolute favorite pop culture vehicle has got to be the 1963 Aston Martin DB5 from Goldfinger.
Bond.
That is the
James
quintessential Bond car. It came out. It was light gray. It had all the gadgets you could ever want. It had
Smoking
let's
hot
see.
chick in the backseat.
Yeah, right. It had the
That's the
oil
only gadget I
slick.
need.
It had the smoke screen. It had the machine guns, and it had the famous ejector seat. Oh my God! I really wish any of my cars had an ejector seat. For fuck's sake.
You did
Jeff, we
have
gotta
an
make that happen.
Escort that had an ejector seat back in the early 90s, didn't you?
No, that was a
referred-
rust hole.
I actually think they referred to me as the escort.
Yes.
And so that car has always been my number one pop culture car. You can't get any better. I mean, you have the James Bond in his tux, ready to take out the bad guy of the day, and he's got all the weapons at his disposal to do it.
Do it.
So and then another my number two car. It's pretty close to the Aston Martin DB5, but it's down just a little bit because it doesn't have machine guns and whatnot. But it's the 1970 Dodge Challenger from Vanishing Point. And if you've never seen Vanishing Point, watch it. It's about a guy. His name is Kowalski, and he's first off he does lots of drugs.
Yay.
Does a lot of uppers.
Hooray.
And so he took a job that he could take this 1970 Dodge Challenger from Colorado to California, and he bet his drug dealer that he could do it in 15 hours.
Huh.
And so that's just nothing but a lot of fast driving and pulling gears and evading the cops. And so
Story of my life.
that car
Jill
is
Dyson
so
story.
that car is so iconic, the white Challenger, that Mr. Quentin Tarantino actually used that car in his movie Death Proof. It's not Stuntman Mike's car, but it's the car that the girls at the end were driving
Right.
when they finally,
Because
stuck it to
Stuntman Mike's car was
Stuntman
what, a
Mike.
Nova? I
I
think.
think so. It was definitely a Chevy, I think.
Yeah.
And so my number three, you guys aren't going to know what the fuck I'm talking about, and that's okay because I take pleasure in being the nerdiest one in the room right now.
Winner.
But ding ding ding. But my number three, and they're an honorable mention for me. They're not a vehicle per se that you can actually drive, but they come from the anime of Ghost in the Shell, and they're called Tachikomas. And if you've never heard of a Tachikoma, They're little, smaller. They're basically AI-driven little mini tanks that the team on Ghost in the Shell used to get around if they needed to get around, high fire situations.
Now, could you park one of those in your mom's basement?
They will surprisingly fit in the garage.
Oh.
And
Where you play your video games.
yes, where I play
Nice.
I don't know if it's video games he's playing, but it's something.
Okay. He's beating something.
skin flute, anything. Anyway, but no, the best thing about these little guys is they're dark blue. They look like little spiders, really. They have a bunch of legs and they like roll around and you can get in them, and they're like little mini tanks. And the best thing about them is their little AI voices are adorable. Imagine the cutest anime little voice you've ever heard, and that's the voice that's talking to you, telling you where to go. It's adorable. I love them, and I wish I had one.
Oh, you're like a Care Bear cousin.
I think that's the best compliment we've ever had on the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
28 episodes in.
That'll be $20, sir. I'm going to take it out for the ladies right now with my top 3.
Yes.
Because I have to say, all of mine, yes, they'll show my age, but they were because really attractive men, to me at the time, were behind the wheel.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
First one, red Ferrari, Magnum PI. Oh, my God. I didn't understand why the lady bits were doing what they were doing as a kid. But when he got in that car and came out of that water, for God's sake, I wanted to be that horse in the logo, right? On the emblem.
That's a man.
That's a man. Look at that mustache. What I could do.
It's an anchor man.
God, what I could do on that ride. Oh, I mean, in the car, of course, the car. Next car. Ready? You ready?
Oh, give it to us.
Oh, I always do. And here it comes. Yellow Beetle. Footloose. Kevin Bacon coming around the corner blasting Iron Maiden. Oh my God.
And a yellow beetle. That's pretty
Yeah.
badass.
And I was
Nothing
like,
says manly like a yellow beetle.
yes.
And Iron Maiden.
Yes.
Nothing
And
says
he's
dancer
like,
like
I'm
Iron
gonna
Maiden.
dance, and I don't care what the hell your preacher says. We're having a prom in a warehouse. Let's fucking do it. And they did. Oh,
A bunch of
and
sticks
then,
up their asses.
yeah, pretty much. And then any movie or show that's ever had an El Camino in it, because if it wasn't for an El Camino, your girl wouldn't be here. Because I was conceived in the back part, of course, on a dirt country road in a county close by. Thanks,
I'm sure
Mom.
that's in one of many country songs.
Is it
Yes.
a car? Is it a truck? I can't make up his mind.
Well,
It's a baby
Mama-
making machine, obviously.
Yeah, Mama was a big girl. She couldn't get all the way up on the top of a pickup, so El Camino was her next option.
Wait,
you know?
wait. Did you say in the back of an El Camino?
In the back. Yes.
More room to roam, man.
That's right. And he roamed all over her. And that's why I'm here. Yes.
Here's
And
the
I-
sex in the back of
Yay.
El Camino.
Yay. I love you, El Camino. But I do have to say, I did find the original El Camino that brought me to life. And the best part is the guy that refurbed the car had seats put in it that swiveled so you could get out of it instead of stepping out and showing your lady parts, which is great because when I swiveled,
Spears.
I was like, wow, no wonder Mommy got in the back. Okay, I get it. No, those are my cars. Thank God for all
Love
3
it.
of them.
Love it. Before we get to our boy Geoff Beale, why don't you tell us a little bit about Throwback Custom Cars?
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Throwback Custom Cars. That's my shop. We do a little everything with cars. So we take older cars, like you've got that classic car that you remember your dad had, or maybe you had, and you want to relive that, and you go out there and you get in and you drive and you're like, holy crap, no power steering, no brakes, this thing rides like shit. I mean, just destroys the whole memory.
Regular steering's a bitch.
Yeah, so we just take all, no power windows. So we just take and keep the car look and put in modern, fuel injected
bring it to the
engines
21st century.
Yeah, we bring everything in, make it where you can drive it and enjoy
You make it
it.
sexy underneath, is
Yeah,
what you're telling
exactly,
me.
yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful on the inside.
Air conditioning so you don't sweat balls in the summer. And, so that's part of the other part we do is drag racing. So we build small tire cars is the big thing now. So it's a little smaller tire, but you're still doing 190, 150 to 200 miles an hour on an 8th mile.
Now, are those slick still? Or
No, technically, but it's a special made tire that they make that's
because my dad
has little
the big
slits.
giant slits.
No.
on the back of
Yeah,
his.
we don't have to turn all that. So the cars can be faster
Okay.
because they don't have all that mass and everything going on. But it's the whole key of sticking it to the track and being able to get down the.
Gotcha. And your main one's what? The Mustang still?
Yeah. It says I've got a '82 Mustang hatch that's a small block Ford. It's a 5-second car, and then we've got a notchback '87 that's going to be Coyote powered with a Vortex supercharger, direct drive. And that one's going to be a 4-second car.
That just sounds sexy.
Yeah, it's great. So,
I think of Wile E. Coyote for some reason. Is it like Acme, like rocket powered?
Funny you say Wile E. Coyote because we're building a streetcar right now. It's a 1963 Ford Fairlane, and we're putting a Coyote in it. And so I asked my daughters to name it. Every car's got to have a name.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the Coyote and everything, and so it's named Wiley.
Awesome.
Nice.
I think you
From
posted
Roadrunner.
that
Yeah,
the other
yeah,
day.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. What's the easiest way for people to find you?
Easiest way is Facebook. They can just look up Throwback Custom Cars.
Okay.
You can also go to the website, throwbackcustomcars.com. And then my personal Instagram is the GEOFF _ pronounced _JEFF. And so I post kind of everything on that. I do have a throwback Instagram that we're going to kind of, start doing all the car stuff mostly on that. But, we're located in Morrisville, but we're right next to RDU Airport right there, at Raleigh. So
you'll fly us in to have a look.
yeah, you can fly
Okay,
in.
yeah.
It's right there.
That's
It's,
right.
we're literally 1,000 feet from Interstate 40.
Oh.
So we're right there, easy to get to and, knock things out. We built a 66 convertible Corvette that just won the show in Raleigh, the Good Guy Show,
Nice.
best of show. Was signed by Roy Williams.
Oh, yeah, the Carolina
Yeah,
one.
the Carolina vet.
Okay.
So we did that and had that white truck. We called I sold it. Guy named it Stone Cold. And,
Nice.
so we won the Ford Truck of the Show with that. So
You have to make an Alabama car for our girl Jill over there.
Roll
hey,
Tide.
I got 2 Corvettes sitting ready
There you
undercover.
go.
All right,
There you
let's
go.
do this.
Crimson red.
Let's
Yeah.
get some Nick Saban to drive me around in it.
Perfect.
So what are your top cars over there?
Oh, top cars, man, it's hard. Some of mine have to do because of the movies too, but probably the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Yes.
I mean, it was just cool. It wasn't as fast as it should have been. 88 miles an hour should have been pretty easy to get up to.
Especially in the 80s.
Yeah,
It's
some
not like it's
serious shit.
1940.
Yeah, it was kind of killing them in the parking lot there, getting chased by the Libyans trying to make it to 88.
Libyans!
But, who done like a car that's made by a drug dealer,
Powered by nuclear power.
Powered
Yeah.
by nuclear power, went back in time. You could check out stuff. So, yeah, that's a top. As far as influencing me with builds was the Penske Camaro. They used to have this series. It was called the Trans Am series.
Okay.
And it's kind of like, a road race. And I pulled a lot of inspiration off of that because my first, well, we'll get into that later. But yeah, I pulled off of that. The Ferrari that wasn't a Ferrari in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Everybody loves that show. The close-ups are real Ferrari, but it really wasn't a Ferrari. It was a kit car, basically, a Medina.
Wasn't it-
I'm sure I'm pronouncing that
Wasn't
wrong.
it so like rare even at that time?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why they
250.
had to use the kit car.
Right, yeah, the 250 GT, yes. So they made 3 of them
Beautiful
for the
car.
movie. It had a Ford the one that they used in the movie had a Ford engine in it, a little 289. The one Ferris actually drove was Matthew Broderick drove was automatic because he couldn't drive a stick.
No shit.
Yeah.
Boo, Matthew
Yeah,
Broderick.
that's pretty
Shame.
bad, right?
For the ladies, that's a
Shame.
turn off. If you can't
Shame.
drive a stick.
I mean, come on. Right.
No.
Yeah. So I guess that's 3. I got one more. The Better Off Dead, the movie with
Yes.
with the Camaro.
I
love that
want my
movie.
$2.
Right, getting chased. He's got the black Camaro that the French exchange student helps him bring out of. Has the car cover on. It's all dusty and orders all these parts because he can't pay $2 to the newspaper boy, but he can afford.
Right. He can afford to retrofit his car.
He's been ducking this kid for years.
Yeah, so he can afford the overnight parts from Japan, and So yeah, that's probably the other one.
What I love about that movie is the Asians with the dude had the Walter Cronkite voice.
Yeah.
The Howard Cosell.
Yeah,
Howard Cosell. That's what it
Cosell,
was.
that's
Howard
it.
Cosell.
Yeah, those guys are really funny.
Yeah, a little bonus to the DeLorean too when Back to the Future was that you left, you had a shitty car, and you came back and you had like a new ORV that called them at the time, had a new
Yes!
4-wheel drive Toyota, so you were good to go. That was an extra bonus.
Yeah. Wax it, Biff.
Oh, Biff.
Let's put the second coat on now.
Before I get into mine, I want to do a little honorable mention to our boy Jordan that couldn't make it today. Honorable mention is going to be the 68 Dodge Charger from the movie Blade.
Of course.
Of course. I actually forgot about how awesome the car was until I just looked up Blade because I want to give Jordan a shout out. So the 68 Charger from Blade, that's going to be for Jordan's. As far as my top three goes, my first car that I fell in love with, when I was a kid, I used to watch the original Batman series with my dad. So the 55 Lincoln Futura, is that how you say it?
Yep.
Yeah, Futura. Batmobile.
It is now.
Yeah. Yeah, that one is, the first car. I was like, wow, this shit's awesome. Yes, the original, the OG Batmobile. Number two has got to be the 1950 Mercury Monterey from a little film called Cobra. Back in the day.
Oh my God!
Good old Stallone with the
nitrous.
With the nitrous,
Yes.
And he had the sunglasses with. He always had a fucking match.
The toothpick.
No, it was a match.
Yeah, it was a match.
Match. I mean, that car is just. I mean, if you can't get laid with this fucking car, you're just not gonna get laid.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So-
This thing is just sex on wheels. And then number three, I gotta go with the.
Make it count.
I'm gonna make it count. I know. I'm looking over my list.
Don't
right
go
here.
Tachikoma like me.
I gotta go with the '83 GMC van from A-Team.
Oh, the 18 van.
Yes.
You ain't give me no plane, fool.
I think that's the only van I would ever own now.
Right. That's it.
Ever. If I'm not gonna.
See, we're so much alike. That was on my list, but I didn't want to be that chick that was
No,
in the
you're
van. You know what I mean? With all the dudes giving the eye to B.A. Baracus.
I'm pretty sure they start pornos off like that.
Yes, I know. And it goes. Dun, dun,
Well, that's the last van that could be cool that isn't like considered the quintessential rape van. I mean,
Right.
let's be honest, they got real unpopular real quick.
True. I mean, just the black with the red stripe. And I'm pretty sure, didn't somebody come out with like a cleaning company and it was like the A+ cleaning crew, and that's their vehicle or whatever. But that van's just the shit, and it will
I have
always
nothing to
and
clean,
forever
but I
be the
will
shit.
hire them.
Right. Before we get into our first cars and first loves, we're going to take a quick little time out for a sponsor spot. A big thank you to one of our sponsors, Geoff Beale, and his team at Throwback Custom Cars in Raleigh, North Carolina. For over 30 years, they have specialized in classic car restoration as well as residential/commercial automation technology and audio-video systems. There is no project too big or too small, and they work all across the U.S. To set up a consultation, contact Geoff at 919-235-8337 or go to throwbackcustomcars.com and fill out the Contact Us form. First car I ever got, my dad, my whole entire life was like, I'm never going to buy you a car. So I was kind of dead set, like, I'm going to have to get this shit myself.
Well, shit.
Which, I was fine with. He's old school. He's one of those, you want something, you're going to work hard for it. So I came home from school one day, and he was always videotaping shit. He had the old school, like, fucking cameraman VHS pack. And I came home from school one day, and he has the camera on, and there's all these little fucking notes all over the place. He kind of had me do like a treasure hunt. Long story short, I ended up going outside, and the last thing on the note said was go outside, walk 10 steps, and look to your left. So I looked to my left, and it was an 89 Nissan 240 SX.
Nice.
Wow.
I fucking love that car. It was pearl white, and my favorite part about it, it had the pop-up headlights.
Very nice.
Oh, and it was a hatchback, two-door, had the little moonroof on it. I wish I would have never sold this car. I wish I still owned it. Apparently, they're kind of hard to find nowadays because everybody uses them for drift cars.
Yeah, extremely hard to find now.
So, but
Didn't you have that car when you started working at Jack's?
Oh yes, I had this car
I
for a very
remember
long
that
time.
car.
It had the big Wu-Tang symbol on
Yes.
the back of it. And I had a Beastie Boy sticker on the back of it too.
Thank you. But when you first looked at that car, did you say to yourself, "Oh my God, I'm gonna get so much ass in this car"?
I did.
Yes. Good for you.
Did it work out?
I thought it, and it ended up working out a couple times.
It worked.
It
did
Was
It
that
did its job.
was that before or after the Wu-Tang sticker went up? I just want to know.
It was after the Wu-Tang. The Wu-Tang sticker came on like
That kind
a
of
week
sealed
after.
the deal.
Oh.
That sealed the deal right there.
Yeah, that secured me in my badassness. The back seat
Oh,
was
he-
not very comfortable, I might add.
But you had a hatchback. Isn't that what you just said?
Yeah, the hatchback, but the actual back seat though.
Well,
You're supposed to pop the.
I know.
Yeah, you
I
pop
didn't.
in and you lay the seat
I
down.
didn't.
Are we?
I mean, I
old
did
school,
eventually.
Geoff? Okay. Obviously, because I came from a fucking El Camino. But I'm just saying. Open the hatch, put the seats back, throw a blanket, do your business.
Now I really want that car back.
We should talk about the first vehicles we got laid in.
Well, that was the first vehicle I got
So
laid
kind
in.
of doubled up for you.
So
Okay.
yeah, double up on that one. Terry, what was your first car?
Well, let's see. Way back, I think my very first car, my parents, let's see, it was about $2,000 used somewhere, and my parents gave me $500 and told me to make the rest. And so I did, and we bought a 1989 white Dodge Daytona.
Ooh,
Nice.
And it was
pure
89.
Detroit muscle.
Oh, pure. Yeah, it was pure something. But anyway, I fell in love with the car because it was a car and because it had the black 80s like louvers on the back window. I thought that was cool. It wasn't.
No.
But I thought it was cool. An interesting side note, I actually went to basic training maybe a year and a half after I bought that car. And I remember calling back home like, hey, Mom, how's it going? And they're like, fine, everything's fine here. And I'm like, there's something going
yeah,
on.
that
There's
sounds
something
sketchy.
happened.
What's
Out
wrong?
with it.
What's happening?
Out with it. I'm in basic training. I can't really do anything. So just out with it. And she said, yeah, I took your car to get some groceries, and it sort of caught fire,
Yes.
and you don't have a car anymore. So
That's actually a
Rest
great.
in
That's
peace.
actually a good story because that means she screws it up. She has to get you another car.
Very good
Right.
point.
yeah,
Did her
well, in a
insurance
perfect
kick
world,
in?
that would have been
That's what
great.
would happen.
But I had to take care of it when I got home. Anyway,
wow.
I love my mother,
Shout out to Mom.
and I really wish I still had that piece of shit back.
Nice.
Geoff, what was your first automobile?
So my first car. Let's see. So we're riding around. We're looking for vehicles. Dad was with me. We're looking. He was always a traveling salesman. So he's looking all over the place. And we looked at. I remember I went and looked with him at a '65 Chevelle. Didn't get it.
Okay.
Went and looked at a '65 Mustang, which is what he wanted me to get. Didn't get it.
Damn it.
Was he teasing the shit out of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a story. There's a story behind the Mustang
Okay.
later.
Stan agrees over here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then, a friend of his wanted me. He was like, "You don't need all this expense," and tried to get me some. I mean, I can't remember what it was. It was such a piece of shit. It was like a $300 car. So I'm like, okay, I better pick something out fast because I'm not getting that. So a buddy of mine bought a '69 Camaro.
Okay.
And then I'm like, hey, I kind of like the Camaro, blah, blah, blah. It turns out there was a car on the next street over from him. So my first car was a '67 Camaro.
Okay.
It was a inline six 4-speed car. Mm-hmm. And then, but living across the street from me was this mechanic. And his last name was Sumter. I wish I remember his first name. But
That's
anyway.
convenient.
So he's living across the street, blah, blah, blah. And so, the plan from day one was, okay, I'm going to yank this 6-cylinder out, right? I drove it around for a while like that. And then he had some couple that had like an old 67 car with a 327 in it that they had been running into the garage for years. So I got that for like $400 or something, yanked that out and decided to put that in the Camaro. And I remember, so the engine mounts are different on the 6-cylinder. So my dad's outside in the cold, and I'm like, coming out and helping with it. And I'm, shit, I'm cold. I'm going inside.
Helping, but not really.
Right.
Helping, but not helping, right?
Helping him from the window. Yeah, that looks good, Dad.
Yeah, you're good, Dad. I'm going back inside.
Yeah, Doug something, that was the guy's name. But anyway, yeah, my dad cussed about that for like 3 weeks, changing those mounts. But anyway, got that in there. Changed it to a 4-barrel later, and the day I got it running, I'm still 15. Hadn't got my license yet. I went out street racing like that day, And
The guy knows what he wants.
I like it.
me and a guy named Todd Arnold. So he had Pontiac, like a Trans Am, was supposed to be fast. I outran him, and kind of started from there and just blossomed.
Gotcha. Nice. That's a good first car right there. Joe, what you got?
Well,
what
shit.
you got for us?
Obviously, I'm the oldest one in the fucking room, so my first car was a covered wagon when we came over. Jesus. I mean, you guys
Jill,
are...
Oregon Trail shit.
Jill has dysentery.
Jeez, no kidding. What the
Jill's
heck?
first car was a
Jill just died from
1932 Ford.
Yes. I had an A model, whatever the fuck that was. No, I mean, you guys were fancy. You had 89s and you were rebuilding shit. Mine was a 73 family car. It was a Mercedes from the funeral home in the town that I lived in. They had finally decided to upgrade all the family cars. Big ass 4-door Mercedes.
Like a tank.
This is how fucking old I am. I couldn't see over the steering wheel, so I had 2 phone books that were this big under my fat ass. And I'm driving, and all I'm thinking is donna 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 donna. I'm like, Fred, yeah, Sanford and Son are in the back with me. What's up? But yeah, it was a church car, and it took families back and forth to the graveyard, and that was my car. And thanks to Janis Joplin, because that's, saw it in the paper, big letters.
Yeah.
Yes, a newspaper is where I saw the for sale ad. Have you ever seen those?
What was this, 1954?
Yes.
I'm not familiar.
Yes. Janice hadn't even born yet,
Is
but
this
she knew
before
what the fuck she
Craigslist?
was talking about. Yeah, that car was great. Good times in it.
BCL.
Yeah. I even rode around with the Pearl album. That
Nice.
song was on, and I'm like, this is the record, this is the car, oh my God. And they're like, you're so fucking old. Like, I know.
Was it an 8-track player in there or a cassette? Where are we going with?
No, there was an 8-track in the Pinto my mom had that she hit me with. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, your mom hit you with a car?
I mean, that's not funny.
Well, I
Sorry.
mean, yeah. Well, it's not really hit. It was more of a
Nudge?
I didn't want to leave the place we were at, and I went to jump out because
She
I
said, "I'll
watched
show
a
you,
lot of
bitch."
well, pretty much. She still says that. But no, I was trying to jump out, and she was looking over her shoulder to back out because she drives for shit. And she's looking and looking and looking, and I go to jump, and my leg gets wrapped around the seatbelt. And it pulls me under the car.
Oh,
and-
my God.
Yeah, it pulls me under the car. I remember looking up at the CB antenna with the tennis ball on it going, is this what heaven looks like? 'Cause I might be dead. I might be dead.
Wow.
Yep. And the even crazier part about that piece of shit Pinto was it got stuck on top of me. They couldn't put it in reverse or
Shut
drive.
up.
No, I swear to God. And then 2 uncles and people that heard my grandmother screaming came and lifted it off, and my grandmother pulled me out from under it.
They like hulked it off of
Yeah,
you.
Wow.
That's why I give the reason of having small titties, because it went right across me. It never fucking grew from
valid.
that fucking Pinto. And that's why they don't make Pinto anymore. That's the real story.
Pushed him in.
You were the one lawsuit that they swept it under the
Yeah.
rug.
That's why I set fire to the back of every fucking one of them. Sorry.
Allegedly.
I'm not bitter.
allegedly.
Remember to say
I'm
it.
not
Mexico.
bitter.
In Mexico.
Allegedly.
I plead the fifth.
Fear, 3, 4, fear.
Before we get to our honorable mentions, we're going to take a quick little time out for a sponsor spot. Next time you're in downtown Greensboro, make sure you check out McGee Street Country and Cocktails, open Wednesday through Saturday. They have live music, full-service bar, farm fresh ingredients, seasonal cocktail menu, and a great space for private parties. They're also hosting a movie night the second Thursday of every month. Make sure you check them out at 113 West McGee Street, and you can find them at www.mcgeestreetbar.com.
You want cars? You want bikes?
Literally anything. Yeah.
Well, since I'm obviously the old lady in town, how about I mention the Waltons?
Oh, my God. Good night, John boy.
Good night, Billy. Get in the car. It's a Model A. That's what I took to the prom.
He had to get out and crank it
I did.
in the front.
I did. Will you hold up my hoop skirt
So
while I
romantic.
crank the car, John boy? My God. And Herbie's Love Bug. Don't forget about that one.
Is that when you were robbing banks with Clyde?
Yes. I only got shot 37 times. But I did have whiskey in my Gouda belt.
There you
Okay.
go.
Don't forget about Uncle Jed's truck.
Yes.
Rocket chair in the back.
Yes.
I think I actually had a truck that I did that in high school with. Yeah.
And a rocking chair in the back.
Yeah, well, shit, you saw my cars in high school. No, you didn't. You weren't
I
born.
didn't.
Never mind. Of course, the Sanford and Son, and then Jim Rockford's Firebird. I just like saying Firebird. I don't give a
It
shit
sounds
who's
really
driving
good when you
it.
say it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
And I do love a nice Cadillac. That was the first car I ever test drove.
Cadillac?
13.
How'd you get to test drive that Cadillac?
I had an aunt. She was really good with the gentleman.
Go on.
And they disappeared
tell.
for a minute, and we were in another state. So I don't know what she did, but they both came out smiling. And he threw me the keys, and he said, "I'm assuming you want the top down, so your rat
You
tail
damn
will
right.
blow in the wind." And I was like, "Fuck yes, I do, sir." And then at that point, my auntie wiped her chin off. She's like, "All right." It was a good time. I mean, it was candy apple red, and so was his cheeks. And I remember
So were
driving
hers.
it. Yeah, they all were. They rode in the back. I'm driving. I'm like the Hogue of the Miss Daisies. It was great. Candy
isn't the
apple
stories
red, white wall tires, white interior. But
These aren't Christmas
Off-white.
stories.
Off-white.
off-white interiors. Unless
we
you
mentioned
took a
the show is
CSI
rated
light.
R.
Yes, CSI light on
Hope
it.
you paid attention to that at the beginning.
It looked like a Pollock painting back there.
Yes, it did. But we all walked away happy.
There you go.
13 driving down Piedmont Parkway. What? Good times.
Jeff, that's going to be a hard one to follow.
It
but,
is. I mean, I'm. Ugh. All right. Back before Charlie Sheen went off the deep end, he was in a little movie called Wraith,
yes.
and that was a Dodge. I don't remember the exact model of it, but it was a Dodge concept car, and they
Yes.
never made
Yeah,
it.
they never made it.
They never made it. But that was like you said. It's modern day Christine kind of thing. So that was.
Yeah,
that
if you
was
haven't seen The Wraith, please check it out. At least for the car alone. The movie's not fantastic, but
No.
the car is.
No. Yeah, the car is awesome.
So we could watch it on mute?
Yes.
Yes.
See the
Yeah.
car? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You know, it's young Charlie Sheen. So you might like.
Oh, yeah. Kind of
Yeah.
like the
Like right after he got done
Outsiders.
doing Ferris Bueller's Day Off, actually.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah. He was
Kind
at
of
the
had
end
the
of that.
same look.
Yeah.
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 That's right. So that one, honorable mention. There's so many. That's the thing. It's
There's
just
a
like
lot.
it's a ton of crap, right? Drag race. I can get John Force and his ride.
Right.
Ford. So I love the John Force stuff. Mom's 1986 Citation station wagon.
Okay.
Citation station.
Help me. I believe that's what it was. I got laid in that thing.
Wait.
Big up to the
wait.
station wagon.
Did it have the door handle on the back that popped open? Did it have
No.
that one?
One
Oh,
that old.
fuck you. What does that
Hey!
Glad I didn't say that
mean?
shit.
Outside later, you and me, buddy.
You think
I mean,
about
that
my
sounds
station
kind of
wagon.
sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
I'll show you old.
Show us how old Auntie did it.
Wiping my face.
Jerry, what you got, bro?
Whatever you say, Auntie. My honorable mention is a little car. It's a Ford. It's a GT Falcon, and it's from a little movie called Mad Max and Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior.
All the Mad Max
It's been known as the last of the V8 Interceptors. That's the car that Max drove basically the whole movie. And he got it at the end of Mad Max 1, and then he drove it all through Mad Max 2. And it's amazing. It's got a giant blower on it. It's got the giant gas tanks because, gas is scarce and he's got to have as much as he can. And it doesn't have anything to do with the car, but I really have always wanted that Australian Shepherd dog that he hangs out with him. That's so fucking cool. I want you so bad, but you're so much more responsibility.
We don't need another hero.
Beyond Thunderdome.
And then I'd also love the Gyro Captain's gyrocopter in that same movie because he's the only one that could fucking fly around.
Gyro Captain. What does that sound
The
like?
Gyro
a sex toy?
Captain.
Sex toy.
It
Gyro
does.
Captain.
Sitting
The
next-
gyrocopter.
Hey, throw that
Sitting-
into.
Would it sit next to your Astroglide?
Definitely.
I had a feeling.
I got a few, actually more than a few honorable mentions, and I'm just going to kind of rattle them off. I love the 79 Chevy Monte Carlo in Training Day. When as soon as they get in the car, and he's like, "Oh, where's the office? Oh, you're in the
You're in the
office."
office.
Yes.
And then
Oh,
fucking
yes.
Dre comes on. That one is a very underrated car.
Yeah.
And then just
I
kind of
had one of those.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah, it was
I
great.
love those so damn
Rode
much.
like a Cadillac.
Oh, sorry.
You just got Jill all excited over there.
Get Jill a towel, please.
Of course, the tumbler from Batman and Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Then, we got the 59 Cadillac Miller Meteor Ambulance, the Ecto 1
Ambulance.
from
Yes.
Ghostbusters.
Right.
I'm actually surprised nobody brought up Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds. Stan's over here like, come on, give me a mic.
Finally.
Give me a mic. A lot of shout outs. A lot of people commented on our Instagram and Facebook page about Eleanor. So got to give Eleanor some love. From the original Gone in 60 Seconds and, of course, the remake with,
I had that car.
what's his name? Nick Cage? Nick Cage.
That's what's so stupid. I had that one. The one
Really?
that's Carolina blue with the white stripes.
Oh, yeah.
Eleanor car? Yeah.
Yes. That's right.
It was a real one signed by Shelby.
What?
No shit.
Yep.
So why don't you have it anymore?
Sold it. Like
yeah.
everything. Like the other Mustang I built. You know. I get bored after I'm finished with the project. I got to sell it.
Gotcha.
So
I'm such a nerd. I don't let go of anything.
You're a nerd hoarder.
I am a hoarder. I'm a closet hoarder.
my problem is
With
all my
no
things I don't
apartment.
want to let go of cost too much.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The so just keep it moving here. 76 AMC Pacer from Wayne's World.
Excuse me?
The Mirthmobile.
That's right. The 68 Cadillac DeVille convertible from Bronx Tale.
Oh, nice.
That's a big one. That's a big one, especially because ever since I saw that movie when I was a little kid, that scene where he calls the test, where he goes, "Look, when you let a girl into the car, if she doesn't reach over
The locks.
and do the lock
Yes.
for you, dump her where she stands." I still stand by that, even though it's not as practical nowadays because of power locks. But
Yeah.
there are still a few females out there that will reach over and unlock the car for you. And much respect to you ladies
Gold.
out there.
Keep them.
Yes.
Well,
Marry
get out
them.
your own
Are you hearing that,
Marry
Jax?
them.
If you don't unlock the door, it's over.
I know Geoff brought up the DeLorean. We brought this up earlier in our little pre-show meeting. The 85 Toyota 4x4 extra cab pickup truck at the end of Back to the Future.
Yes.
Fucking awesome. And, I'll go up to the lake with Jennifer anytime
Yeah.
with that thing.
100%.
The Mutt Cuts van from Dumb and Dumber. That's going to get some love. The 64 Munster coach from the Munsters. And I got to go with the 97 Chevrolet 2500 Silverado Fleet, a.k.a. the Pussy Wagon. from
Oh,
Kill
my
Bill.
pussy wagon broke down. Oh, the pussy died.
I don't think we ever ended an episode like that, but I think we are today.
Oh, Kit. Nobody said Kit.
Oh, Kid from Knight Rider.
fucking
That's
Kit,
an
man.
obvious one. Oh, I forgot one.
Yeah, Mr. Belvedere's voice and everything.
We still got time. Rattle them off.
Boys in the Hood, 1963 Impala.
The ice cream truck in Friday.
Yes!
Yes.
J-Don, you got one last one in there? You got one in the tanks?
The Charger, the General Lee? No, that's
Yeah,
not
well,
racist.
we haven't
No,
said
man.
Hey, let's go Daisy Duke's white van.
Cars can't be
I mean,
racist. Only
That's
their
right.
owners.
They didn't know.
The Goonies.
They didn't know any better.
Goonies
ORV.
ORV.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And now, crowd much to this game. Talk about
Bullet holes.
Bullet holes the size of matzo balls.
The ORV.
Love it, man. Well, that's gonna just about do it for this episode. Thanks again for joining us. Make sure you check out Geoff and Throwback Custom Cars. And once again, the website is www.throwbackcustomcars.com. And be sure to check in next week for another episode of
Pop, Michael.
Sure will. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Pop Culture as Fuck, presented by Multipoptural. Be sure to check us out at our website for all the latest news and notes. You can find us at www.popcultureaf.com or multipoptural.com. And we'll see you next week, you filthy animals.
Yes! Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.